So my name is Marnie Stutz. I am in the United States. I'm on the East Coast in North Carolina. I have a computer science degree and have 30 years of experience in corporate America. And I had about 10 years of actual programming and then about 20 years in management. And I worked for Cisco Systems, which was a great experience. And I recently retired. And so as I retired, I've gone to work for my husband, who's a consultant with ABAP. He's sort of on the business side, but has some technical. And so I am now his dedicated programmer for the clients that he works with. Now, I haven't done programming in a while, but I did spend most of my 10 years doing COBOL, which you may or may not have heard of, but it's very similar to sort of the structures from ABAP. And so I did personal training myself online, different things that I found. But I was not really finding something that gave me the beginning to end, just to kind of really lay out that framework. So I have started my job in January. So now I have to put in my full time and I'm still doing my training. But it's all been very helpful. You know what? The only thing that I wanted to validate after doing 3 different sort of online self-found, I got bits and pieces. But when I took a look at the exam, the certification exam, I failed. Anyway, I don't know that I would say there was skepticism. I was actually quite excited because it came as a referral. But I had done, I took 80 hours of this great programming class. But I kind of knew the programming. It was more the syntactical. Then I did another program and I learned about some high level stuff, but it wasn't executable, might be the word. And it didn't have anything logical about how it went. So I had a great training class that I loved, and I had a question on something, and the trainer, since I had given it a like, had just said, I'm glad you liked it. So I thought, hey, he responded, I'm gonna ask him a question. And so then we had a chat and he pointed me to this program. And so I did have a couple conversations with Lod, just making sure I understood what it was about, because I didn't want to just sort of jump off the cliff again. I needed to make sure that I was going to get some really good. And so so first of all, it's very organized, but there's also one-on-one time, which nothing else had. It was all me just listening to someone. So it wasn't skepticism. It was just trying to learn from what I had done before to sort of have a different outcome. So I was anxious about starting. So because I was working for my husband, I kind of got a job, right? But I told my husband, I was like, you're telling everybody you're hiring your wife. I have to execute, right? There has to be value. Otherwise, his reputation, and I don't have a reputation with these folks, but I do have a great reputation from my career. And so I wanted to still present as a, high delivery quality person. And so I was very concerned where I was in October, starting in January. And so, and I thought, I can fumble my way through, right? I'm resourceful or whatever, but the more I was trying to get in and do stuff on my own, ABAP and SAP it's 30 years in the making. It's huge. And so, So the confidence starting in January, and I'm only in module 5. I was telling my husband today, I gotta get with it. So I think the confidence, because of the way it was structured and sort of how to get around and just some real tangible things I was able to do before January, I have been able to, I have fixed 4, 5, 6 problems that the client's been waiting on because they just didn't have the bandwidth and a dedicated person. And and I've done some new stuff. My husband's like, I need this, and I was able to do it in a day. So I think the confidence and my sense that, while I'm still learning, I can actually get something done. And then I had a problem, and in my one-on-one, and I know, like, whenever I get stuck, my husband's like, okay, well, that'll be on your weekly discussion with Law, just to help me, get there faster if I need to. So I think I would say, just feeling like I felt like I could do it, but I didn't want anybody to question it, right? Because, why is it taking her so long? So I think that is the big difference that this program has had in a short period of time for me to get ready. A lot of the way that the training is set up, here's a good way to do it, here's other ways you're going to see it, and why. Because again, I was trained to be a computer science programmer, and I've come across people, because the way that programming is today, anybody can program. Doesn't mean you're doing a good job, doesn't mean it's going to be efficient, doesn't mean it's going to perform, but you could get data and slap it in a database and get it out. So I'm a little bit of I have an opinion about people that haven't been trained. But anyway, so he's explained what you might see and why you might want to do it a certain way. So a lot of what I'm doing is debugging. And so a lot of how he's taught it, the whys, and then all of these codes on how you define variables, local, table, structure, all that stuff helps you read the code. And that sounds so minor, really, but the fact there's a standard, oh my gosh, So I guess in general, it's allowed me to be able to understand the code, maybe not the way that Claude would do it, but the way that other people do it, as well as just being able to debug. And the other thing my husband doesn't like is that developers don't properly document, which I've always liked documenting. And so there's some logic that Claude has shared that I didn't think about, that I'm using. And I was like, nobody's done XYZ in the documentation. Should I go in there while I'm in there, since I'm changing the code, should I go and add that? He said, please. So some certain best practices around that, I think, again, for myself, but for others. So I'm going to be doing their new features as well as bug fixes. And the one thing I've recently learned, which scares me, but they have purchased a cloud version of the product that I support. And it's so new that I don't think anybody's done it successfully. And so I will be the developer to help them figure out how to do that successfully. So, and my husband's obviously, sort of in between me and the customer, but so I think, that'll be a great opportunity, and I'm having fun. In terms of my previous job, loved working where I did. Big company, high drama, politics, don't have any of that. I just get to do the fun stuff. So I think there's going to be a lot of pressure, but I'm excited. You know what? I thought that I'm smart enough that I can, do it on my own by watching other people. and testing it out myself. And I spent 9 months doing that. And then I got a copy of the test, just because it's a measure. Lad and I agree that it's not the best measure, but it is a measure. And I utterly failed, which told me that someone with experience that you can talk to and ask questions from where you are, as well as giving you some basic things that you can practice and then get feedback. I'm going to ultimately spend about 4 months. It's a good chunk of change, but my time is worth a lot. And so by the time I get through it, I will have spent more than a year, but then the last 4 months was the most impactful. So I think, if you want to, the one-on-one coaching and the way the examples are done, which are really pretty straightforward, but it gives you that tangible, it's the better use of your time, and it'll get you out the door and ready to go faster. The fact that you have some background is helpful so you can ask intelligent questions, but connecting your knowledge with this huge environment, it really, to me, it's money well spent. And there's nothing out there that I have found that is like it. Which is why I told Lod, I think I'm pretty resourceful. I went and found different places, but no one's offering their one-on-one time. And to me, that is the differentiator, because for Lod, he said, anything you're working on with the program or your work, I'll help you. Nobody's even meeting with you, much less customizing it. So that's why I said, how do we get more people to know about it? Because if you're trying to get ready, 4 months, you're done. Or it's really 3 months, but I asked for 4. The quality of the training, the personalization for me, and I'm assuming anyone else, is unique from what I have seen. And, I am appreciating it from a professional point of view, but I also feel like, I have a new friend, and you can't beat that combination. I do have a big mouth. If I'm not happy, I have a big mouth. If I'm happy, I have a big mouth. And a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, if Marnie likes it, it's gotta be great. And having worked at Cisco, and again, Cisco does have an SAP component in their environment. And so, and I worked at Nortel before that. Anyway, so if there's anything beyond that I can help try to get the word out, I'm happy to do that. And I have told them that. But there's a very unique model that you have that, especially somebody that's making a bit of a change. I mean, for me, I have that core development, but this is, I thought, oh, I've got this. And I do, but it's like, how big is the ocean? And he's really sort of organized it in a great way. So I just think this is a model that is a great model that I don't think anybody can compete. It's just great. So.